Rob Dickin here with GuideToEnergy.com, and just going to briefly go over how to build some wind generator blades out of a standard piece of PVC pipe. Couple different types of PVC pipe you can use. One is just normal storm and drain pipe, which has got a real thin wall. Or if you're worried about your blades breaking or want to do a longer blade, you can use a Schedule 40 pipe. I use 6-inch pipe, so that's what I start with. And so you want to divide the pipe into 4 pieces. A little trick for cutting or marking on the pipe rather is if you have a piece of angle iron laying around, if you lay the piece of angle iron on the pipe, if you can get it to lay flat, it's going to be a straight line because the angle sets down over the curvature of the pipe. So it's just a quick way to get a straight line down a pipe. So grab yourself a piece of angle iron and then mark yourself a straight line down the pipe to start with. Now there's a couple different ways you could do the marking on this. If you want to take a string and wrap it around it, you could use the string to mark it. You can use the string to, you could fold the string in half, mark it again, fold the string in half, mark it again, or measure the string and divide it by 4. There are equations for that. If you take the total outside diameter of the pipe and multiply it by 3.14, that'll get you the circumference. Or you could just take a sewing measuring tape, which this is my wife's, so don't tell anybody, and then go around and measure it that way, and then take your number and divide that by 4. However you want to do it, just remember the equation is your diameter. Just because you bought a 6-inch piece of pipe doesn't mean that your diameter is 6 inches, so go ahead and measure it for yourself, because with the Schedule 40 it's going to be a different diameter than a 6-inch, say, storm and drain pipe. So mine works out to be 6 5/8. So I take 6 5/8 and I multiply it by 3.14, which is pi, and I get 20 13/16. So then I divide that by 4, and it gives me my 4 equal sections for the pipe. So just do all the math, figure out how much you need to put in between each mark, and go ahead and mark it all up. Okay, once you've measured and drawn your lines, it's always a good idea to go back and double check the distance between all of your lines to see that you're correct and that your trick with the angle iron has worked. And it looks like we got a pretty good line up here. So the next trick, or the next step, is to go ahead and cut these out. You can use whatever kind of tool you have laying around or whatever kind of tool you prefer. I'm a big fan of the angle grinder. I do a lot of metal work, so I'm pretty handy with the angle grinder. I use this. You can also use a jigsaw. Whatever tool fits your talent, go ahead and make those 4 cuts, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've cut my PVC pipe into 4 pieces here. I'm going to build all of my blades are going to be 34 inches long. I don't cut my PVC, I get it to about 3 feet but before I cut all this, just so it's manageable. But I actually do a precision cut and make sure that they're all 34 inches long after I get them into quarters. Unless you have a big bandsaw or some sort of bigger saw, it's hard to cut the 6-inch pipe and get it exactly right while it's all together. So I wait until after I have them cut. I just get the pipe close, about 3 feet or so, and then after I've cut them into the 4 pieces, I will measure them out and make sure that they're all exactly 34 inches. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've got all these cut out. I've got them cut to the right length. I'm doing another set here out of the pipe and the drain PVC. It's got a smaller wall, a thinner wall to it, just so that you can see as we go along the different kinds of PVC. It's a lot tougher to cut the Schedule 40. I zipped right through those others, and I did go ahead and use a jigsaw instead of my circular saw, especially on the smaller stuff. I just was able to maintain it a little bit better. So what we're going to do now, and I don't know if you've noticed, but this stuff makes a big mess everywhere, so make sure you wear your goggles and have a place you can get messy. So what we're going to do now is kind of form the blades. And to do that, it's easy if you take one of the blades, and of course we've divided these into four. Most of the machines being made right now use 3 blades. So to give you an extra, I go ahead and make the 4th one just so in case one breaks or I'm off on one or I miscut one. Go ahead and make 4 blades. So you lay your new cut piece of PVC, one of the quarters out, and put a TE on the bottom and a LE at the top. That's trailing edge and leading edge. And then what I do down here on the end, if you can see it here, I measure 2 inches, and I don't worry about the curvature. Some people will wonder, well, do I measure 2 inches going around the curve? Do I measure 2 inches going straight up? I just go straight up. Measure 2 inches up from the bottom and put you right here. Then on this will be the inside. This will be the side that you hook to your hub. And so if you want to write tip on this end, that would be good. This end over here I measure 3 inches up, and that's the 3 inches that you'll keep to bolt to your hub. And then on the leading edge, I measure 6 inches from the inside of the blade. And then I measure another 6 inches, we'll put you at 12. And then all you need to do is connect with your marker, make a line from this 3-inch mark to this 6-inch mark, then leave this alone. Make a line from this 6-inch mark to this 2-inch mark down here on the tip. So I'm going to go ahead and mark all of my blades in this fashion. So the tip on the trailing edge, this side, gets a 2-inch mark. On the inside of the blade that gets bolted to the hub, you're going to leave 3 inches so we can drill holes and do whatever we need to do to hook it to the hub. If your hub configuration is different, you may need to change this. You may need to put I don't know if you can see this, but you may need to do something like this and then go up to your 6-inch mark so that you have more of a bolting surface. Not sure how yours is set up. This is how I like to do it. So you can change it to suit your needs. If you are going to do any kind of a corner like this on PVC, you need to drill a hole right where you're going to make that corner. So take a 5/16 drill bit and drill a hole at that corner. And then when you cut in with your jigsaw, make sure and don't cut into the corner of that hole. That keeps the PVC structurally sound, and it'll keep it from snapping right here where you make that corner. So just remember that little trick. Drill a hole where you're going to have a corner, and then drill into the hole and not all the way into the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and mark mine all out, and then I'll come back and cut them.